Rain-slicked streets glimmered under the city lights, reflecting the hustle of New York's evening traffic. Cars honked, taxis swerved, and the distant wail of a siren threaded through the air. Among the crowd of hurried pedestrians, Olivia rushed down the sidewalk, her heels clicking on wet pavement, her umbrella struggling against gusts of wind. Her hair was damp, plastered to her cheeks, and her designer coat clung to her figure. She barely noticed the pedestrians brushing past her or the puddles threatening to soak her shoes. She was late. Late for a dinner with her father's business associates, late for a presentation she hadn't fully prepared, and late for something she couldn't name, yet felt pressing deep in her chest. Then, just as she turned the corner onto Fifth Avenue, she saw him, a young man, late 20s, pushing a cart stacked with dishes and trays, nearly tripped on the slick sidewalk. His apron was stained, sleeves rolled up to reveal lean, calloused arms, hands slightly trembling as he tried to balance the pile. A few plates rattled dangerously. Olivia stopped, heart skipping a beat. There was something about him, his eyes sharp and alert, yet carrying a tired warmth that immediately drew her in. And then, disaster struck. One of the trays slipped. Plates crashed to the ground. A tray of food tumbled toward her feet. Olivia froze, barely managing to jump back in time. The man cursed under his breath, cheeks flushing red, and bent to scoop up the remnants of the fallen dishes. "You okay?" he called, his voice low but hurried. I'm so sorry, ma'am." Olivia nodded, feeling her cheeks heat. I'm fine, really. Don't worry about it." He glanced up at her, eyes locking for the first time. Something unspoken passed between them, a spark, a fleeting recognition, though neither could place why. His lips twitched in an almost smile. "Still, my fault. I should have been more careful." She shook her head. "No, it's New York. You can't control the rain or the chaos." A beat of silence. Just the hum of the city, the distant chatter of pedestrians, the splash of tires through puddles. Then he tilted his head, curious. You look familiar. Do I know you?" Olivia smiled faintly, tucking a strand of wet hair behind her ear. "I don't think so." Yet there was a pull she couldn't explain. Something magnetic. She had never been drawn to a stranger in a crowded street before, and yet, here she was, unwilling to step away. "I'm Ethan," he said, extending a hand, his grip firm, confident yet gentle. His eyes held a vulnerability that clashed beautifully with the hardened city around them. "Olivia," she replied, taking his hand, feeling an unexpected warmth spread through her. Their eyes held, a silent promise forming, though neither knew what it meant yet. A taxi skidded past, spraying water from the gutter. They jumped back instinctively, laughing awkwardly, breaking the tension. Ethan's laughter was low and rich, a sound that seemed to anchor her amidst the chaos. "Wait, do you work around here?" she asked, curiosity overtaking her. He nodded, brushing a wet strand of hair from his forehead. "Yeah, I work at a little diner down the block. Evening shift. Crazy nights, endless orders, but I like it. Keeps me on my toes." Olivia's smile softened. "A diner? I've walked past it 100 times, probably, and never noticed it." "Or you," he shrugged, playful yet self-conscious. "Maybe I'm not that noticeable." She tilted her head, studying him. There was honesty in his eyes, something rare in the polished, calculated world she lived in. He wasn't glamorous, he wasn't wealthy, but there was a raw integrity that made her chest tighten unexpectedly. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed insistently. Another reminder of the world she couldn't ignore. She glanced down. A text from her father, sharp and impatient. "Where are you? Don't make me wait." "Dinner starts now." Her heart sank. She had to go, yet she didn't want to leave. "Not yet. I have to get going," she said, reluctantly stepping back. He nodded, understanding, though his eyes flickered with disappointment. "Yeah, of course. Maybe I'll see you around?" Her lips curved into a hesitant smile. "Maybe." She turned and walked away, the city swallowing her up again, leaving Ethan standing on the wet sidewalk, staring after her. A strange tug in his chest he couldn't name. The next evening, Olivia couldn't stop thinking about him. Every street corner, every pedestrian brushing past her felt like a reminder. She tried to focus on work, on her meetings, But her mind kept drifting back to the young man who had looked at her, as if she was something more than her title, more than her family name. Meanwhile, Ethan was replaying the encounter in his head. He couldn't stop thinking about her, the way her eyes had lingered on him, the warmth of her smile despite the chaos of the city, the way she had listened to him without judgment. He hadn't even exchanged more than a few words, but it felt significant. A thread tying their worlds together. Days passed, and fate intervened. A sudden downpour caught Olivia by surprise as she exited a cafe, umbrella forgotten at home. She dashed across the street, heels clicking, hair plastered to her face. A moment of misstep sent her sliding toward the wet asphalt, heart racing, and then a strong hand shot out. "Ethan's got you!" he shouted over the rain, steadying her in his arms. She gasped, heart thundering, looking up at him through the rain. I'm fine, really." "You're soaking," he said, his voice low but teasing. "Come on, you're not walking home like this." Before she could protest, he had wrapped his coat around her shoulders, the scent of warm coffee and city rain surrounding her. Olivia felt a strange flutter in her chest. This was more than chance, more than coincidence. As they walked under a shared awning, rain dripping from the edges, their conversation flowed naturally. No small talk, no pretense, just an honesty that felt rare in her world. She told him stories of her childhood in Manhattan, her love for art, her dreams for the future. He listened, genuinely, eyes bright with curiosity. "You're different," she said finally, a blush coloring her cheeks. "Different how?" he asked, playful yet earnest. "You care about everything, even the small things. Most people in this city don't notice the world around them," she admitted softly. Ethan smiled, a genuine, unguarded smile. "I notice what matters." The walk ended at her apartment. She hesitated, not wanting the night to end. He looked at her, eyes steady and unflinching. "Olivia," he said, "I don't know why, but I feel like I need to see you again." Her heart skipped a beat. "I feel the same." They lingered a moment longer, the city bustling around them, but time felt suspended. And then, before she could say another word, her phone buzzed. Another reminder of her life. Business, obligations, a world that demanded attention. Reality intruded. I have to go," she said reluctantly. Ethan nodded, a subtle sadness in his expression. "Tomorrow?" She nodded, smiling softly. "Tomorrow." As she watched him disappear into the crowded street, Olivia realized something profound. She had just met someone who might change everything. Little did they both know, that single chance encounter on a rainy New York street would ignite a journey of love, secrets and destiny, one that would test their hearts, challenge their worlds, and force them to confront truths neither were ready for. The morning sun filtered through the tall glass buildings of Manhattan, casting long, golden reflections across wet streets from last night's rain. Olivia stood by the cafe window, stirring her cappuccino absent-mindedly, her mind replaying the encounter with Ethan over and over. She hadn't expected a stranger to leave such a mark on her. Yet, there was something about him, calm, grounded, and yet full of untapped energy that refused to let her think clearly. Across town, Ethan was already at work. The diner was bustling. Trays clinked, coffee machines hissed, and the smell of fresh bread and sizzling bacon filled the air. He moved with practiced ease, serving regulars who barely acknowledged him, their eyes glued to newspapers or laptops. Yet his thoughts were elsewhere, constantly drifting to the woman with the striking green eyes and the soft smile that had made him stumble yesterday. The universe. It seemed had other plans. That afternoon, Olivia ducked into a small boutique to escape the sudden drizzle. The bell above the door jingled as she entered. And there he was. Ethan, balancing a tray of desserts for the cafe's catering order, glanced up and froze. Their eyes met again. "You're everywhere," he said, a hint of amusement in his voice. Olivia laughed, a sound that drew a few curious glances. "And you? Do you follow people around Manhattan now?" He smirked, leaning slightly on the counter. "Maybe I just have a good sense of where interesting people go." Her cheeks flushed, and she looked down at her hands, fumbling with her scarf. "I guess. Maybe it's fate." Ethan's smile softened, his eyes warm. "I like that word, fate. Makes the chaos of this city feel meaningful. They laughed together, and in that moment, it felt like the city had shrunk around them. No honking horns, no rushing pedestrians, just two people caught in a quiet bubble of curiosity and attraction. But as their conversation deepened, Olivia realized something unsettling. Despite the instant connection, she knew nothing about him, his life, his dreams, his past. He had shared glimpses, a diner, evening shifts, the exhaustion in his eyes, but nothing concrete. And in her world, people rarely existed without layers, without a story to reveal. "I have to ask," she said softly, leaning on the counter. "What's your story? You're different, and I can't figure out why." Ethan hesitated. He wanted to tell her everything, the nights of struggle, the small victories, the secret ambitions. But some part of him clung to anonymity. He liked being just Ethan, without expectations, without scrutiny. "I just live life as it comes," he said finally, a vague smile on his lips. "It's simpler that way." She studied him carefully, sensing he was hiding something. But instead of pushing, she nodded. "Fair enough. Maybe some things are meant to stay mysterious, for now." That subtle understanding deepened their bond, an unspoken trust forming between them. Later that week, Olivia's life took an unexpected turn. Her father had arranged a charity gala at one of Manhattan's most luxurious hotels. Invitations were exclusive, high-profile businessmen, celebrities, and media personalities. Olivia, caught between duty and desire, reluctantly agreed to attend. She was mid-conversation with a potential sponsor when she noticed a familiar figure in the crowd. Ethan. Her heart skipped. He wasn't wearing the diner uniform this time. He was dressed simply but neatly. Dark jeans, a crisp white shirt. It was clear he didn't belong in this glittering world of wealth and influence. And yet, there he was, scanning the room with quiet confidence. Before she could process it, their eyes met. Ethan excused himself from a group of servers and approached her cautiously. "Olivia," he whispered, his voice low and urgent. "I didn't expect this," she smiled, feeling a thrill of excitement and tension. "Neither did I." They slipped to a quiet corner of the ballroom, the noise of the gala fading around them. For a moment, it was just them, two people from completely different worlds, connected by a thread of fate. "Why are you here?" she asked, genuinely curious. Ethan glanced around, then lowered his voice. "I came with the catering team. I didn't think I'd see you, though." Olivia laughed softly, leaning closer. "Well, fate has a funny sense of humor." For a moment, they simply looked at each other, the connection palpable. But as the night wore on, Olivia noticed a subtle tension in his movements, a hesitancy, a restraint that didn't match the man she had met on the streets days ago. "Ethan." "What is it?" she asked, concern flickering in her eyes. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Olivia, there's something I haven't told you. About me, it's complicated." Her pulse quickened. "Complicated how?" He hesitated, then said softly, "I'm not just a waiter. There's more to me, things I'm not ready to reveal yet. I need time. Please trust me on that." Her heart ached with curiosity and worry. "I want to, Ethan, I really do. But why hide it?" He looked into her eyes, his expression torn between fear and hope. "Because if you knew everything, you might see me differently. And I can't risk losing what's already special." Olivia felt a lump in her throat. She wanted to push, to demand answers, but she also sensed his honesty, the vulnerability in his words. "Okay," she whispered. "I'll wait, but don't disappear from my life." "I won't," he promised, a faint smile touching his lips. The days that followed were a delicate dance. Olivia found excuses to visit the diner, sometimes pretending to grab coffee, sometimes lingering to help organize catering orders. Ethan was careful, maintaining his composure, but the small glances, fleeting touches, and quiet moments between them spoke volumes. One afternoon, while rearranging pastries on a tray, Ethan noticed her staring out the window. "Lost in thought? Thinking about me again?" he teased, a spark of humor in his eyes. She blushed, turning away. "Maybe just a little." He leaned closer, voice gentle. "Olivia, you make life feel different, lighter. Even in this messy, chaotic city, you make me feel like there's Something worth holding on to, her breath caught. Ethan. He stopped, suddenly self-conscious, aware of the weight his words carried. I shouldn't say that. I just wanted you to know. The tension between them was electric, a magnetic pull neither could resist. And in that moment, Olivia realized the depth of her feelings, a mixture of admiration, desire, and an inexplicable trust that went beyond logic or reason. Yet, just as they leaned closer, a sudden interruption shattered the bubble. A high-profile client from her father's company walked in, demanding her attention. Reality intruded, pulling Olivia back to her structured high society world. Ethan stepped back, hiding a flash of disappointment behind a professional smile. "Duty calls," he said lightly, though his eyes lingered on her. Olivia forced a smile, her heart aching. "Yes, duty always wins, doesn't it?" He nodded, silent understanding passing between them. That night, as Olivia walked home under the city lights, she couldn't shake the feeling of unfinished business. Ethan was more than a fleeting encounter. He was a presence that had already changed her perception of love, fate, and courage. And deep down, she sensed their story was far from over. Meanwhile, Ethan stood in the diner, staring at the empty chair where Olivia had sat, replaying every word, every glance. He knew he was hiding a truth that could change everything. Yet he also knew he couldn't let fear dictate their connection. The city slept around them, unaware of the sparks igniting between a rich woman and a man who lived in the margins, their destinies entwined by chance, choice, and the invisible threads of fate. But in the quiet moments of the night, a storm brewed, one that would challenge their hearts, test their trust, and force them to confront secrets that neither had been prepared to face. The following morning, the city hummed with its usual rhythm, yellow cabs honking, people hustling to work, and pigeons scattering across the sidewalks. Olivia's mind, however, was far from the busy streets. Every step she took toward her office felt heavy, weighed down by unanswered questions and an inexplicable longing. She replayed the moments with Ethan over and over, the spark in his eyes, the hesitant vulnerability, the sudden professional facade when duty interrupted them. She tried to focus on her meetings, her spreadsheets, the endless flow of emails demanding attention. But no number, no client, no contract could replace the image of Ethan leaning close to her, his voice gentle and vulnerable, confessing that there was more to him than the world knew. Meanwhile, Ethan was in a quiet corner of the diner, carefully arranging pastries for a private catering order. He kept glancing at the clock, calculating how long he had before Olivia might appear again. But this time, it wasn't about chance, it was about necessity. He knew he couldn't hide the truth forever. He had to reveal it before their fragile connection cracked under the weight of uncertainty. Later that day, fate intervened. Olivia stepped into the diner, rain lightly falling on her umbrella. She shook it off, scanning the room. Ethan's eyes met hers immediately. Without a word, he motioned her toward the back corner, where the din of the main room faded into a private, semi-hidden space. "Ethan, what's going on?" she asked quietly, her voice tinged with concern and anticipation. He swallowed, a mixture of fear and determination in his eyes. "Olivia, I've been hiding something. Something important. I can't keep it from you any longer." Her heart skipped a beat. "Whatever it is, you can tell me. I want to understand you." He took a deep breath, as if bracing for the weight of his own confession. "I'm not just a waiter. I come from a family with a legacy. Wealth, influence, responsibilities. I chose this life, this anonymity, because I wanted to be seen for who I am, not who I was born to be." Olivia blinked, stunned. "Wait, you're wealthy?" He nodded, his expression somber. "I could have been part of that world, the one you live in. But I wanted something different. I wanted freedom, and to prove to myself that my worth wasn't tied to money." Her emotions were a whirlwind: shock, disbelief, admiration, and an undeniable flutter of attraction. "So all this time, you've been hiding it? Hiding from me? I didn't want you to see me as a project or a curiosity or a novelty," he admitted. "I wanted you to know me, Ethan, not the name or the fortune behind it." For a long moment, Olivia simply stared. The pieces were falling into place. His careful restraint, his quiet confidence, the subtle hesitation, Everything made sense now. But understanding didn't erase the confusion, so, "What does this mean?" she asked softly, her voice trembling. "Does it change us?" Ethan reached across the table, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. "It doesn't change how I feel. If anything, it makes me more certain that what we have is real. But reality has a way of complicating even the purest intentions." Just as Olivia was about to respond, her phone buzzed with an urgent message from her father. "Important meeting tonight. Be prepared. Guests from Europe arriving. Don't be late," her chest tightened. The world she lived in, glittering, high pressure, and relentless, was never far away. She looked at Ethan, her expression torn. I have to go." "My father." He nodded, understanding but visibly disappointed. "I get it. Go handle your world. I'll be here, waiting." That evening, Olivia attended the gala, a whirlwind of elegance and expectation. She moved through the crowd with practiced grace, shaking hands, smiling politely, all while her mind replayed Ethan's revelation. The truth about him added an exhilarating tension she couldn't ignore. Meanwhile, Ethan stayed back at the diner, prepping for an early morning delivery. He checked his phone repeatedly, unsure if he should call her, text her, or just wait. Every passing minute felt like an eternity. Then, a twist neither expected. A high-profile guest from the gala, a mutual acquaintance of Olivia's family and Ethan's world, recognized him. Whispers began circulating, subtle at first, then louder. "Isn't that... Could it be?" By the end of the night, Olivia's father received the news. The young man who had caught Olivia's attention at the cafe and the gala was from a wealthy family, a secret Ethan had worked so hard to keep. The next morning, Olivia rushed to the diner, determined to confront Ethan before the rumors escalated. She burst through the door, her heart pounding. "Ethan, we need to talk, now." He looked up, startled but calm. "Olivia, I can explain everything." "Sit down." She did, her eyes blazing with emotion. "Explain?" "You've been hiding from me. Why?" "Why didn't you trust me?" Ethan's expression softened. "I trusted you enough to let you see me as Ethan, not the legacy behind me. I wanted you to like me for me." Her anger melted slightly, replaced by hurt and longing. "And I do." "I like you. But how can I believe that when everything else you've said is true?" He reached for her hand, gripping it gently. "Because my feelings for you aren't about my money or my status. They're about you. The way you look at the world, the way you care, the way you see me." Tears welled up in Olivia's eyes. She wanted to believe him, wanted to trust that their connection was genuine. But the reality of his hidden identity, the expectations of her family, and the whispers of society pressed down on her. Days passed with a tension neither could escape. Every glance, every text, every chance encounter felt loaded with unspoken questions. Olivia's father, protective and cautious, began probing, subtly trying to uncover Ethan's true nature. Ethan, meanwhile, grappled with the choice. Reveal everything to Olivia now, risk losing her, or wait, hoping their bond could survive the eventual revelation. The emotional stakes escalated when Ethan's past surfaced unexpectedly. A distant relative contacted him, demanding family attention, threatening to expose his identity to the world. He knew that if this happened before Olivia fully trusted him, their connection could shatter. Olivia, sensing the strain but unaware of the full danger, decided to confront him one rainy afternoon. The streets of New York glistened under neon reflections. Rain dripped from umbrellas, and pedestrians hurried past, oblivious to the drama unfolding in a quiet corner. "Ethan," she said, voice trembling but firm, "I can feel that something's coming. Something big. Don't shut me out, please." He looked at her, torn. The weight of secrecy pressed down on him like the storm clouds above. "Olivia, if I tell you everything now, it could ruin us. But if I don't, it could ruin us too. I don't know how to win." Her eyes softened, filled with both pain and determination. "Then let me decide that. Let me choose if it matters. Don't decide for me," Ethan's breath caught. For the first time, he realized that love wasn't just about hiding or protecting. It was about trust, about vulnerability. As the rain fell harder, drenching their clothes, they stood in the middle of a bustling New York street, the world moving around them. A taxi splashed water nearby. Horns blared. Pedestrians hurried by. And in that chaos, they found a moment of stillness, a fragile, beautiful pause. Olivia reached for Ethan's hand. "No more secrets," she whispered. He held her tightly. "No more, I promise." And just as their foreheads touched, a shadowy figure watched from across the street, cell phone in hand, a hint that the storm had only just begun. The city, bright and alive, seemed to hold its breath. The morning light spilled over the glass skyscrapers of Manhattan, glinting off windows and car hoods. But inside Olivia's apartment, the atmosphere was anything but bright. Her heart pounded in her chest as she scrolled through social media on her phone. Her eyes widened. The post was everywhere. Ethan, his real identity, his wealth, his family connections. The words were simple but explosive. Man who captivated socialite is actually from a billionaire family. Secret identity revealed. Olivia's hand shook as she put down the phone. All the moments, all the stolen glances, the quiet breakfasts at the cafe, the laughter in the rain. They now felt like they were on display for the world. A part of her felt betrayed. A part of her wanted to believe that the man she loved was still the Ethan she knew, the one who had confessed his feelings in that diner, who had let her see the real him. Meanwhile, Ethan sat in his small apartment, phone in hand, eyes wide. The exposure had come from a distant relative he had tried to keep at bay, a cousin who wanted to leverage Ethan's secret for personal gain. The post went viral instantly. Within minutes, tabloids, blogs, and gossip accounts had exploded with his story. Every moment of privacy they had cherished was gone. He took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. He knew Olivia would see it first, and he also knew she would be furious. But he had to face it, had to confront the chaos he never wanted to create. Olivia stormed out of her apartment and hailed a cab. "Ethan!" She called into the driver's earpiece, giving him his address. Her mind raced with questions, anger, fear, and love. Was he lying all this time? Did he ever truly care about her? Or was she just a pawn in a game of privilege she didn't belong to? Ethan was waiting outside the cafe where they first met. He looked different in the harsh morning light, his suit perfectly tailored, his expression a mixture of guilt and determination. As soon as she saw him, a flurry of emotions hit her, longing, heartbreak, and fury. "Olivia," he began, voice calm but urgent. "I can explain everything. Please, just hear me out." She crossed her arms, her eyes blazing. "Explain? You hid your life from me. All those moments, were they real? Or just part of the lie?" Ethan stepped closer, keeping his hands open in a gesture of honesty. "Every single moment with you was real. I wanted you to see me for who I am, not who I was born to be. I love you, Olivia. Not for my family, not for my money, not for the legacy behind my name. I love you because of you." Her breath caught. She wanted to believe him, wanted to trust the words coming from the man she had fallen for. But the media storm, the public scrutiny, and her own insecurities made her hesitate. And now the world knows. Do you realize what this means? Everyone is watching us, judging us, scrutinizing every smile, every touch. Is this really the life you wanted for us? He reached for her hand, gripping it firmly. "I never wanted this exposure. It's a threat, yes. But it doesn't change what we have. We can fight this together, you and me." Our way, Olivia's eyes softened, but doubt lingered. What if it's too late? What if the world ruins what we built before we even had a chance? Just as their hands brushed, a sleek black car pulled up abruptly. A suited man jumped out, holding a tablet displaying the viral posts. Ethan's expression hardened. "They're here," he muttered. Olivia's eyes widened. "Who are they?" "They're opportunists. Media vultures. People who want to exploit me, and by extension you. They won't stop until they've gotten their story." Her heart raced. The situation escalated faster than either could anticipate. This wasn't just about a secret anymore. It was about survival, protecting their love and their privacy in a world that thrived on scandal. Ethan led her into a quiet alleyway behind the cafe, rain lightly pattering from the morning drizzle. "Listen," he said urgently. "We have to move fast. I can protect us, but we need to trust each other completely." Olivia's resolve hardened. "Then I trust you, just don't lie again, Ethan, not for anything." He nodded solemnly. "Never again. From now on, it's just us. We face this together." For the next 48 hours, they went into semi-hiding, moving between safe locations. Olivia experienced a world she had never known. Back doors of high-rise buildings, quiet private apartments, and secluded rooftop gardens. Yet in every new place, Ethan's hand found hers, his gaze never leaving her, and for a brief moment, the chaos faded into something tender, intimate, and real. During this time, a surprising twist emerged. A journalist who had initially covered Ethan's exposure, impressed by his humility and Olivia's loyalty, decided to help rather than exploit. They crafted a counter-narrative that highlighted the purity of Ethan and Olivia's love, their courage in facing the storm, and the honesty that had defined their connection from the start. The article went live, and slowly the tide began to turn. Social media, initially full of judgment, now buzzed with support. Fans, strangers, and even public figures lauded their bravery, emphasizing that love could thrive even amidst deception and chaos. But the resolution wasn't instant. Olivia's father, protective and wary, requested a private meeting. He was blunt. "Ethan, I need to know that your intentions are genuine. That you're not playing games with my daughter. Her happiness means everything to me." Ethan met his gaze steadily. "Sir, I swear on everything I am. My feelings for Olivia are real. Every choice I've made, every risk I've taken, has been because of her. Not my legacy, not my wealth. Her." Olivia watched from the side, her heart swelling. For the first time, she felt the weight of the storm lifting, not completely, but enough to see a path forward. Her father sighed, a mixture of resignation and approval. "Then I will trust you, and her judgment." In the final scene of the section, they stood on a rooftop overlooking the glowing New York skyline. Rain had passed, leaving streets shimmering like liquid gold. They held each other close, hearts racing from adrenaline, fear, and the undeniable force of their connection. Olivia whispered, "We survived this. Together." Ethan kissed her forehead. "And we'll survive anything, because nothing is stronger than what we have." The camera pans up to the skyline, the city alive, vibrant and electric. Their story, filled with secrets, trials, and revelations, was far from over. But for the first time, they faced it hand in hand, hearts open, trust restored, and love unshaken. The city awoke slowly, golden sunlight spilling between glass towers and reflecting on the East River. For Ethan and Olivia, today felt different. The storm of exposure, secrets, and media scrutiny that had threatened to shatter their love had passed, leaving them in a fragile, luminous peace. Olivia sipped her coffee on the balcony of her apartment, wrapped in a soft sweater, the morning breeze tangling her hair. Ethan leaned against the railing beside her, hands tucked casually into his pockets, eyes scanning the horizon. For the first time in weeks, the tension between them was gone, replaced by a quiet confidence, a love unshakable by the world. "You know," Olivia began, breaking the silence, "I never thought we'd make it here." "After everything," her voice trembled slightly, betraying vulnerability. Ethan turned to her, brushing a loose strand of hair behind her ear. "I knew we would. I had to believe that what we had was stronger than the noise." She looked into his eyes, searching for reassurance, and found it in the calm depth and unwavering devotion reflected back. The memories of betrayal, exposure, and danger still lingered, but they no longer felt threatening. They were proof of survival, of a love tested and proven. Later that day, they walked hand in hand through Central Park, a quiet oasis amid the bustling city. Leaves rustled in the gentle wind, and the soft hum of life around them made their hearts beat in rhythm. Couples passed by, dogs ran through fallen autumn leaves, and the distant laughter of children created a serene backdrop for their reunion. Ethan stopped suddenly near a fountain, turning to face Olivia. His expression was serious yet tender. "Olivia, I know we've been through storms I never wanted us to face, but I can't imagine a future without you. And I don't want to hide anything ever again. Not from you, not from the world." Olivia's chest tightened, a mixture of emotion and anticipation. "Ethan, what are you saying?" He took her hands in his, kneeling instinctively in the soft grass. "I'm saying that I want us to face everything together, from now on. No secrets, no lies, just us. Will you marry me? Tears welled in Olivia's eyes, the world around them fading into a soft blur. The love, trust, and vulnerability they had fought to rebuild culminated in this single moment. She nodded, barely able to speak. Yes. Yes, Ethan, I will. The engagement announcement wasn't flashy or extravagant. They wanted it intimate, genuine, a reflection of their journey. Family and close friends gathered in a small, sunlit rooftop garden. The skyline of New York sparkled behind them, but it was their laughter, soft touches, and whispered promises that dominated the scene. Ethan's parents and Olivia's best friends were present, bridging two worlds previously separated by wealth, privilege, and status. Every smile, every toast, and every shared story carried the weight of their struggles, triumphs, and unwavering love. It was a celebration not of riches or social status, but of authenticity, courage, and connection. Even the media, once a looming threat, were invited, but only to capture the story of love's resilience, not scandal. They documented moments, Ethan lifting Olivia onto the balcony railing for a playful kiss, Olivia resting her head on his shoulder, both laughing uncontrollably. The city lights danced in the background, framing their joy in golden hues. In the weeks that followed, Ethan and Olivia navigated their blended lives with grace and excitement. Olivia started a charity initiative inspired by their story, supporting underprivileged youth in New York, bridging the gap between worlds that often felt impossible to connect. Ethan, balancing his business responsibilities, immersed himself in mentoring young entrepreneurs, teaching lessons he had learned about humility, integrity, and love. Together, they became a symbol of modern romance, a love that thrived not on perfection, money or status, but on vulnerability, courage, and unwavering commitment. Their story inspired countless social media posts, articles, and heartfelt messages from people who saw themselves in their journey. It was proof that love, when nurtured with honesty and compassion, could overcome any obstacle. The grand finale arrived on a crisp spring evening. The city skyline shimmered with lights, casting a golden glow over the East River. Ethan and Olivia stood atop a private rooftop, overlooking Manhattan, holding hands, eyes locked. Around them, the soft hum of the city mingled with distant music from a nearby rooftop party, creating a cinematic backdrop for the most intimate moment of their lives. Ethan turned to Olivia, brushing her cheek gently. "Do you remember the first day we met? You didn't know who I was, and I didn't want you to. I just wanted you to see me, the real me." Olivia smiled, tears glistening. "I remember. And I did. I saw you. And now I see us. A future built on everything we've survived, everything we've loved, and everything we will face together." He pulled her close, their foreheads touching. "Whatever comes next, we face it together. No more secrets, no more hiding. Just us." She nodded, whispering softly, "Forever." And as the camera pans out, capturing the sprawling city, the shimmering river, and the golden lights reflecting their joy, the final message resonates. True love doesn't wait for perfect circumstances. It thrives in honesty, courage, and the willingness to face every challenge together. The story of Ethan and Olivia, once filled with mystery, obstacles, and heartbreak, ends not with a dramatic twist, but with a quiet, radiant promise. Love, when nurtured, can conquer the chaos of the world.